Alright, hey everybody, it's Philip Norman, Pleasure Bomb Leather. Just gonna do a quick video on how the basics of how I get from a few pieces to this, ready to put on the rabbit fur, the lining. Alright, basically you got backing strap. This standard for these are 2 inches by 10 inches. This is the top strap. These standard as it's sitting right here is 1 inch by 13. These are for the wrist cuffs. Depending on your ankle size, a lot of people have been able to wear these on their ankles just fine. Adjustments can be made here and there for bigger ones depending on what's needed. But this is the basic wrist restraints that I just keep in stock. Now, first thing I do here, and I had lost my shorter tailor's tape, was sick of using that giant one, so I got a new one. But first thing I'm going to do is put the buckle on the strap. Now I've got the hole that I put here is centered 1.5 inches off the end. Now the rivets I got there, they're 1/2 inch from the end of this and then another 1/2 inch. After marking them, I'm going to line my 1 inch line, or well, in this case 5, just whatever you're going to use, up with the hole. Kind of like slide it up in line, get it to where I'm pretty close to 1/4 inch off the edge. Come out my 1/2 inch, do a light dot. The other 1/2 inch, put a full inch, do a light dot. Now I'm going to come off the edge, quarter inch, make a larger dot noticeable, come down. If you line this line up here with the edge of the strap, you're going to be pretty well square. Come down, make another heavy dot to mark where you're actually going to put the holes in. Rinse and repeat. Alright, now I got those 4 holes marked. Take my rotary punch, I like to get it started, open it back up, make sure I'm in the good spot. You can easily refine it. If it's good, you'll feel the divot in there as you're squeezing. If you need to adjust it, you have a chance to adjust. Two top holes and come down. I like to do the ones furthest away from me first, then come to me. In general, why I don't know, just how I like to do it. Now, what I like to do, and I forgot to pull out my other punch, is I found, measuring both sides and punching the holes separately, you always end up with one of them, at least one, if not multiples, that don't want to line up properly once you fold it. What I like to do is get it folded where I need it, and use one of these deals with a slightly smaller hole than what I use, punch head than what I used to line up. This is still big enough for the rivets to go through. The tops of the rivets don't really care much for this size. I can't remember off the top of my head what size it is, and it's old as dirt, so any numbering on it's worn off pretty good. But even on the fleshy side, that leaves, I don't know if you can see it, that leaves rings just deep enough, just clear enough to be able to find them when I go to punch them out. Alright, I'm going to move you to my other table, and I'll be right back. Alright, now, this is my punching mat, just a big old thick piece of leather. Line up my holes. Like I said, you can feel the little indentations, so you know you're in the right spot. It's a lot easier than just, you know, taking an awl and trying to center a dot through there and stuff, and this gives you a bit more accurate situation. There. Now I've got those all punched, ready to be set. Grab a few rivets. And the buckle. Feed the buckle through. One of the things, if you're just shopping in general for a set of cuffs, not if, you know, if you're not making them yourself, you're shopping around, and you don't feel like ordering one from me, you want one right away from where you're at, I always suggest you go and buy some from somebody who makes them by hand. If that in that moment isn't a possibility, ordering them online, there's a lot of good makers, there's also a lot of crap makers. Just keep an eye on things. One thing you want to look for is the buckles. Using my fancy big hammer because I want to, and then I ended up going too light with it because of the weight. You know, one thing to keep out, look, are they using decent buckles? A lot of strength cuffs out there are using real crap buckles. And it's just not going to hold up as long, you know, in the long run. That, and if you've got a company that's going with cheap buckles, I know there's a cost factor, but if you're going with cheap buckles, what else are you going cheap with? Normally I don't use this 2.5 pound crossbeam hammer for setting my rivets, but I had it right there next to me. I like it. It's one of my favorite hammers, so I was going to use it. So bam, there we are at that point. Now, so I don't have to keep moving the camera, I'll bring everything else over this way. Now what I like to do, as far as when it comes to centering this piece with this piece, all sorts of different ways, it's all personal preference type stuff. Some people like finding the exact center of both pieces, line up the exact centers, going from there. Some people like to have, you know, your D-ring or triangle way up here. It's all personal preference on the maker, on how they like to do it. Now, of course, anybody doing custom work will make it however you want, but in general production stuff, it's going to be just how the people making it want to do it. What I like to do is I like to line the edge of the buckle up and have some of the tail end hanging off. It's going to be longer anyways. I just like having this pretty much flush. And then what I do is I find the center from here to here, and from the buckle there, and it's going to be within, an eighth to a quarter inch. It's going to be within, or it's going to be roughly 5 3/4, give or take an eighth inch or so, just depending on tolerances, measuring it from here. Sometimes when you're cutting the end off of this, you make a little mistake, need to back it up a little, things like that. So I'll double check about where your center is. Now this is going to be, I'm just going to round it. It's within a 1/16 of an inch at 5 3/4, so I'm just going to go with 5 3/4. Let's divide that in half. I'm looking at 5 7/8. It's going to be the center. So then I'm going to go 9/16 of an inch each way. I used to just do straight 1/2 inch each way and give an inch worth of space. That was back when I was using standard welded D-rings. But now that I'm using these are a little bit thicker. So I give it that extra 1/8 of an inch. So I add a 1/16 on each side. So I'm going to roughly line it up here. So again, start 2 7/8 is my center. I'm going to come 5/16 over, do a light dot there, go back to 2 7/8, over 9/16 of an inch, dot there. Put me at a 1 1/8 spacing. Now go ahead and measure 1/4 inch. That one's pretty much right on, and a 1/4 inch. A little further off, 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch. Alright, now I've got these holes marked. Punch them. Again, I like to check it until I'm good and centered. Alright, that one didn't go all the way through. Had a little bit of the fleshy side sticking on the other end. Okay, there we are. Now, I'll get this up on here. There we go. Our eyeball. I'm looking good right there. Now what I'm going to do is mark just the 2 on the side of the buckle. Punch them. Now I'm going to set the rivets for those 2. The reason why I'm doing it like that, because if I were to measure it while flat, once I put this on, that's going to pull these top 2 holes this way. So I do just 2 and then 1, and then put my rings on and go from there. Gotta use my little crappy setter because I just can't find my good one. I know what you guys are thinking. Well, if you clean up your fucking shop once in a while, you might be able to find things. And yes, you are right. Does that mean I'm going to clean it up tomorrow? No, probably not. I just got a bit of ADD, then lose track of minor things like that. Normally I have all my tools in my suitcase, or I guess it'd be briefcase, which goes with me to all my events and everything I'm doing. Now what's not in there, it's usually on my workspace. And that's what I do, is I pull this tight, do the same thing with marking the holes, take everything clean off there, and this back enough to where it's not a problem. Punch. Getting set. I don't know how well any of that. Yeah, that was fine. Alright, well, there you go. Now my next step, which I'm not doing today because I don't have the time, will be to glue the rabbit fur to the back of this. That's about all I got for you for today. You guys take care of each other. Remember, life's beautiful, motherfuckers. Go out and live it.